I hate.
Oh, I feel you, Onion Boy. That's exactly how I felt having to sit through your video in order to make this one. So I'm gonna hear what Onion Boy has to say about Shane, and then we'll watch Shane's reaction and just kind of break down his body language. If you're wondering why I'm talking like this, it's because I'm sick as fuck and I need to rest, but, you know, there ain't no rest for the wicked. So just for some context, Onion Boy has had a vendetta against Shane Dawson for a very long time now. He absolutely hates him, and he's trying to find any reason to bring this man down. Now, I'm not subscribed to Shane, and I'm actually subscribed to Onion Boy. I feed off of drama, it's my thing, so. But I just want to look at these alleged facts that are presented in front of me and kind of come up with my own opinion, just like I encourage you to do. And a disclaimer, because I haven't done one in a while and I feel like everyone needs to know, I'm pretty sure my last 2 body language videos don't really do me any justice in the credibility area. But definitely keep in mind that body language alone will not be a 100% way of knowing whether or not someone is lying, but it can be a big tell. Alright, now let's get on to the video.
Alright, so this is gonna make you feel super cringed and super grossed out in general, but it's a video we gotta make. We absolutely have to make this video because if you don't, I mean, you're helping someone get away with something. When you're like me, a public person. So this is Shane Dawson, and someone tweeted something a couple days ago that may change your opinion of the man. Here we go. Let's go ahead and watch this doozy of a video and react as it goes along.
I have 125,000.
No.
Her dick was almost as big as mine.
Really?
And I said, okay, little big dick, why do you have so many followers? And she goes, oh, I'm a cheerleader. And I'm like, oh, really? And she shows me her Instagrams, which are like, first of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like, she's like sexy.
You're not allowed to call children that word, no. If you know for a fact they're a child, you don't say that. Ugh, God.
She's like sexy.
You're disgusting.
Correct.
I know, listen, we've talked about pedophilia
No, this
before.
is Shane, like, do not say this, and like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, you will get arrested. Like, he kind of can.
Listen,
he
allegedly,
has his justification for pedophilia,
okay,
and it's so disturbing. And like, I just pretend that he doesn't.
Okay, wait, no, like, no, let me explain. Let me explain.
Oh God.
Here's my justification for pedophilia.
I can't.
What? Oh my God. There's no justification for pedophilia, dude. Pedophilia is being attracted to prepubescent children. Does he not know the definition? Like, you're targeting like Nicktoons type kids, okay? You're not targeting like a 17, 16, whatever, which is also not good if it's illegal in your area. If it's illegal, screw you, you idiot, you don't know the law, okay? But we're talking about like super young children. Again, both are bad. If it's illegal, it's illegal. Don't mess with it. But we're talking about super duper young kids, and he's like, let's justify, like, you gotta be insane to even have that conversation.
Google's like naked baby on Google and jerks off to it, they can get arrested. I don't understand
because
that.
What? It's because somebody has incentive to take pictures of these victims. And they exist, this incentive exists because of people like you, who's obviously the type of person to do that.
Here's the worst part of it. I actually went to Google and I'm like, I don't want to see.
You could get arrested.
I know, but I just wanted to see, like, okay, let me pretend like I'm a pedophile first.
Nobody does that. Nobody pretends they're a pedo and tries to Google those images unless they have the deviant motivation to look that. Oh my God.
So I typed in naked baby. First of all, they were sexy.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, when you look at all the evidence that Onision has presented and you actually hear Shane say that, it sounds so fucked up. So I'm really interested in what Shane has to say, because this is kind of compelling and a little bit weird. And if you look at the comments on this Onision video that he made, mainly all of them are saying that this video is extremely edited and that Onision doesn't know what a joke is. So let's go ahead and move on to Shane's video. I definitely want to do more research after this, but so far this seems pretty serious.
To Google and I'm like, oh god, I want to see.
You're gonna get arrested.
I know, but I didn't want to see child porn. But I just wanted to see, like, okay, let me pretend like I'm a pedophile for a second.
Okay, by the way, just for the record, police, I have nothing to do with this. I didn't know this. Like, you can literally get arrested for saying
I know.
this.
Listen, let me finish.
Sorry.
So I typed in naked baby. First of all, I don't understand why anybody would be turned on by that. But
That's the first good thing you said.
But they were sexy. I'm kidding. Okay, back to the Instagram. So if I look at this.
Okay, so it is good to have the unedited actual version of what Shane did say, so that's number one in his corner.
Hi. I wanted to play that clip in full. I mean, that moment especially in full. Just for context. Because that seems to be missing
Ooh, he's angry. He's real angry.
nowadays. I cannot believe that I am having to make this video. I cannot believe that this is happening. I'm going to start by saying I am not a fucking pedophile. I, Shane Yaw, my real name, go on record saying I am not a fucking pedophile.
I wanted to replay this clip because this is very important in getting a feel for how Shane thinks of Onision and himself regarding this situation. He says, I just want to start by saying, he sits up, he gets very close to the camera, which could technically be considered invading someone's personal space. It's a very defensive, angry, aggressive move. And he gets this dead stare into the camera, his eyebrows aren't up, he has a very relaxed face while he says this. But he says, I am not a pedophile. And then whenever he repeats it, but this time making it more personal by inserting his full name, he lowers his head, his chin, but he keeps that good eye contact, so he is definitely not backing down. And I like that he's addressing this head on. It's a very good sign. And to create sort of a base or a structure in which I can work off of to accurately read Shane, he is a very flamboyant, sort of extra exaggeratory person in his movements, even in just regular videos, and of course this video is no different. And you can definitely see the believe me look and the stress lines on his forehead, but when you take into account what he's saying and how angry he is and how he's refusing to back down from this, all signs show that he is truly in disbelief and in disgust. And if you've seen any of my other videos and think, but wait, Reagan, doesn't a believe me look always indicate deception? I will mention again very quickly that you will always need more than one tell in order to kind of group the signs together into a truthful or deceptive category. So for example, in my Logan Paul video, I called out a believe me look and said it was more so deceptive because there was a lot of stillness, a lot of other signs that led into the deception category along with the believe me look. And in this case, Shane has all of the signs of defense and aggression and disgust in what Onision had said. You also have to put context in it, but you know, that's a whole nother thing. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And let's keep going.
Got it? Great. Here's my statement. Because everybody's saying, Shane, make a statement. There's my statement. I'm not a fucking pedophile. It's disgusting that people are saying I'm a fucking pedophile because of some shitty ass fucking jokes from 6 years ago on a podcast. Now let me explain a little bit more. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apologize first. I am sorry that I used to make really shitty fucking jokes. I am sorry that I was so fucking, like, insecure and, like, playing this character of this guy who's, like, crazy and will say anything and, like, tries to make people laugh by shocking them.
So this is when Shane starts to apologize. and he seems to kind of set aside his anger somewhat in this clip. I hope by now that it is common knowledge that we have two hemispheres in our brain. Like I've said before, there's no such thing as a right brain thinker or left brain thinker. However, you do use both sides of your brain whenever you talk, and one can be used more dominantly over the other, especially when you are apologizing or telling a story. So this is Shane's left side and this is his right side. I know that by the part of his hair, but it is a fact that the left side is the side of the brain that is more credited with being logical and emotional, whereas the right side of the brain is more credited in being creative and kind of constructive. So when I say someone is scanning the right side or left side of their brain for an answer or response, it's not because someone's eyes simply darted to one side of the room. It's usually because whenever someone is accessing that particular side of their brain, their eyes will tend to glue on the side that they are using more dominantly. So whenever Shane breaks into this apology, you can see him scan the left side of his brain because he's going into feeling. He truly does remember and apologize and feel badly for being that stupid kid that said things to shock people. Now, once he finishes being an emotion for his apology, you'll see his eyes go right back into that emotionless state because he's more so thinking of what to say next. And that's the problem with these apologies that are technically explanations rather than apologies. But I'm not going to say he's making this up because his body is singing with him while he's saying this. So it's another case of putting in context and all of the tiny little clues in order to decide whether someone's being deceptive or truthful. And this isn't the first time that Shane has been criticized for saying some crazy things or doing some crazy things, because what was it, like a couple months ago he was getting ridiculed for having done blackface in a couple of his videos. So Shane has by no means been a perfect person. I definitely think that he regrets a lot of things that he has done before.
That was my thing. That was what I did on YouTube. A lot of people now don't know that. If you started watching my videos more recently, you might not know that. But back in the day, from 2008 to 2012-ish, maybe 2013, that was my thing. I thought it was so... I loved the feeling of making somebody shocked and laugh because they couldn't believe what was coming out of my mouth. I wasn't confident enough to make smarter jokes. I was making the easy jokes. I was playing crazy stereotypical characters. I was doing shit that was racially insensitive. I was doing shit that was homophobic. I was doing shit that could be considered fat shaming. I was doing some fucked up like comedy stuff that I'm not proud of.
And his body is singing with him in this moment. That's whenever the entire body is in coordination with the mind and there's no jerky movements, there's nothing out of the ordinary, it all seems to flow. And this to me really comes across as very sincere.
Like, I've changed so much as a person and as a creative and a director and a writer and stuff. Like, the stuff that I was saying back in those times, I would never say now.
And then you can see him trying to focus on pressing his lips together in order to stop himself from crying. And then he takes a pause, his hands go up and his eyes go down, and you can see the shame that he feels in himself kind of start to come through in his frown.
Ever. Like, because I don't think that's funny. Listening to that clip just now, I didn't laugh. I didn't think it was funny. But when you hear that clip, you hear my co-host laughing, which was my goal. I wanted to always make her shocked and laugh. That was our thing. Our thing was like, oh, I'm going to say something super crazy to get her to be like, oh my God, Shane, you can't say that. Like, that was our thing. And if you listen to the podcast for years, you would know that.
So at this point, his body language leads me to believe that he's being truthful. And just for good measure, I know I said I was going to try to do some research after the fact. Well, I went back and I watched a lot of old Shane Dawson videos, ones where he had kids in them, and in no way, shape, or form did I see him ever act any differently while talking to a child than he would an adult. So to sum up my thoughts, I don't believe that this man has any sort of sexual thoughts or intentions with children or about children, and I honestly think that anyone that is spreading this notion that Shane Dawson Dawson is a pedophile is sadly mistaken. So that's all I have for today's video. I want to make sure that you guys look at the description box below because I have something kind of cool linked that I'd like you guys to check out if you have the time. I recently had a 15-year-old girl by the name of Natassha reach out to me and tell me about this project that she started in order to raise money for the foundation called Asha-Nepal. She wrote a children's book and is selling it for $2.50 on her website that is linked below, and all proceeds go to providing residential safe homes, trauma counseling, health support, and education for the women who are affected by human trafficking in Nepal. I'm not getting paid to promote this, I just think it's a great cause, and I really would like you guys to check it out. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Basically, there's a clip right now called Shane Dawson is a pedophile. And then it says proof. First of all, that's illegal. You can't say somebody's a pedophile and say you have proof when they're not. There's a lot of legal words, I don't know, but I think there is a word for that. Defamation of character? I don't know. I'm not on CSI. I don't know.
I get a lot of questions asking me what I'm majoring in, and for all of you who don't know, I'm majoring in criminal justice. So the law is kind of something that I study, day to day. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people asking if this is something Shane Dawson could sue for. And I am here to say, from a legal standpoint, Shane does have some very solid ground to stand on if he did decide to, in fact, sue the people that were spreading these statements. Because these statements were false and can be proven to be false, because Onision made this video online to his millions and millions of followers, Shane could technically sue on grounds of libel and slander. Defamation of character happens when something untrue and damaging is presented as fact to someone else, so making the statement that Shane, quote-unquote, is a pedophile is textbook defamation of character. Libel and slander are two subgenres of defamation of character, in which libel has to do with digital statements as well as writing, and slander is simply the spread of verbal misinformation. So if I were Onision, or the person who created this video to begin with, I would definitely watch your heads right now. Alright, I'll catch you on the next one.